This is HOA catastrophe. The package vanished, and she acted like I did it. I will make sure the neighbors see this. That is what Karen shouted at me in front of the mail kiosks. She was holding up her phone like it was a warrant. 3 neighbors stopped mid-walk to watch. I had no idea what she was talking about. I just wanted to grab my mail and leave. Her name is Joanne Whitaker. She is on the architectural committee for the Harbor Point Residential Association in Orlando, Florida. I am a systems analyst. I moved here 8 months ago because the rent was reasonable and my commute to the tech park was short. That was my first mistake. My second mistake was thinking the HOA would leave me alone if I kept my head down and followed the rules. Joanne stepped closer. She was wearing a black rain jacket even though it was 78 degrees and cloudless. She had a black visor pulled low and a portable thermal printer clipped to her belt. I am not kidding. She prints notices on the spot. She pulled a fresh one and handed it to me. The header said violation notice in bold letters. I read the first line. Unauthorized access to common vehicle storage areas. Theft of personal property. I looked up. What are you talking about? She tapped the paper. You were seen checking door handles last week. A pair of sunglasses was taken from someone's car. Multiple residents have reported suspicious behavior. You fit the description. I do not fit any description. I have never touched anyone's car. I do not even park near the clubhouse lot. I said that out loud. She ignored me. I have a process, and you will follow it. Management has requested a statement from you. You need to come to the office tomorrow morning at 9. I can do that. She cut me off. And remove that doorbell camera. It is not approved under the architectural guidelines. I installed a Ring camera 2 months ago. I submitted the form. I got the approval email. I told her that. She shook her head. Your camera does not matter. My minutes are the truth. That line landed like a slap. I felt my chest tighten. She turned and walked toward a golf cart parked at the curb. It had a blinking amber light on the roof. She climbed in and drove away at about 4 miles per hour. The neighbors scattered. I stood there, holding the notice. I went back to my townhouse and pulled up the approval email. It was right there. Approved architectural modification request. Doorbell camera installation. I screenshotted it and forwarded it to the management office. Then I opened the Ring app and scrolled back through the last 2 weeks. Nothing unusual. No one near my door. No one near my car. I did not check door handles. I work 60 hours a week. I barely have time to take out the trash. My girlfriend called that night. She lives 2 hours north in Daytona. We have been together for 3 years. She asked how my day went. I told her about Joanne. She groaned. Is this the same woman who tried to fine you for the trash can? Yes. She is going to keep doing this until you move. I cannot afford to move. My probation period at work ends in 6 weeks. If I am late one more time, they are going to let me go. I need this job. I need to stay close. I cannot deal with HOA drama on top of everything else. She did not say anything for a few seconds. Then she said she would come down this weekend. I told her not to worry. I would handle it. I did not believe that, but I said it anyway. The next morning I showed up at the management office at 8:55. The office is in a converted clubhouse unit near the pool. It smells like carpet cleaner and old coffee. The receptionist is a woman named Diane. She has worked here for 12 years. She waved me in. Joanne is already in the conference room. She wanted to get here early. That should have been my warning. I walked into the conference room. Joanne was sitting at the head of the table. She had a manila folder in front of her with a printed timeline inside. I could not read the text, but I could see the column headers in the rows. It looked official. She did not look up. Sit down. I sat. Diane stepped in and said the manager would join us in a few minutes. Joanne nodded. Diane left. Joanne looked at me. I have reviewed the incident reports. 3 vehicles were accessed last Tuesday between 6 and 8 p.m. 1 pair of sunglasses was taken from a center console. 2 other vehicles showed signs of attempted entry. You were seen in the area. I was not in the area. I was at work until 9 that night. I can show you my badge log. She waved her hand. That does not prove anything. You could have left early. I did not leave early. You can call my supervisor. She opened the folder and pulled out a printed portal audit log sheet. It had timestamps and user ID columns. Again, no readable text. But it looked real. She slid it across the table. This shows that your unit number was flagged for multiple noise complaints last month. It establishes a pattern of disregard for community standards. That was my upstairs neighbor. Management already resolved it. It has nothing to do with car theft. She ignored me. She pulled out a handheld radio and pressed the button. It crackled. She spoke into it like she was dispatch. Unit 214, this is Architectural Committee. Confirming compliance check for later today. No one answered. She clipped the radio back on her belt. I stared at her. Who are you talking to? Private security. They patrol the property. They do not respond to you. They respond to management. She smiled. I am authorized to coordinate vendor activity on behalf of the board. That is in my role description. The manager walked in. His name is Eric. He is in his 50s and always looks tired. He sat down and asked what was going on. I started to answer. Joanne cut me off. I am providing a summary of the theft incidents. The resident is refusing to cooperate. He claims he was at work, but he has not provided any documentation. I am recommending immediate action. We need a trespass notice for common areas and a mandatory hearing. Eric looked at me. Do you have documentation? I pulled out my phone and opened my work calendar. I showed him the badge log export. He looked at it and nodded. This shows you were on site until 9:15. Joanne leaned forward. That log can be edited. I have worked in IT. I know how these systems work. I have not edited anything. You can call the security desk at my building. They swipe every entry and exit. Eric rubbed his face. Joanne, do you have any actual evidence that he was involved? She tapped the timeline. I have witness statements. I have the timeline. I have the pattern of behavior. What witnesses? She did not answer. Eric looked at me. I am going to table this until I can review the statements. In the meantime, no fines, no trespass notice. Just keep your distance from the parking areas after hours. I nodded. Joanne stood up. This is unacceptable. You are enabling theft. I will be filing a formal complaint with the board. She grabbed the folder and walked out. The door slammed. Eric sighed. She has been doing this for 6 months. She thinks she runs the place. Why does the board let her? He shrugged. She is loud. She shows up to every meeting. The other board members are retired and tired. It is easier to let her do whatever she wants. I left the office and went to work. My head was pounding. I could not focus. I kept thinking about that timeline. It looked real. It had my unit number on it. But I did not do anything. Someone was lying. And Joanne was the one pushing it. That afternoon, I got a call from the tow company. The driver said my car was flagged for removal due to expired registration. I told him my registration was current. He said he had a work order from the HOA. I asked who called it in. He said Joanne Whitaker. I told him to check the plate. He put me on hold. 2 minutes later, he came back and said the order was canceled. Someone gave him the wrong plate number. I called Eric. He said he did not authorize any tow. I told him Joanne called it in. He said he would talk to her. I did not believe him. That night, I went to the mailbox cluster to grab a package. Joanne was already there. She was talking to another resident, a woman named Pam, who lives in Building C. Pam was nodding along. Joanne saw me and raised her voice. This is the one I told you about. He is the reason we have to lock everything now. He has been caught on multiple cameras. I have not been caught on anything. You are lying. Pam looked uncomfortable. She grabbed her mail and left. Joanne stepped closer. You are a thief. Everyone knows it. The board is going to vote you out at the next meeting. You cannot vote someone out of their lease. That is not how any of this works. She pulled out her phone and waved it around. I have messages proving it. I have residents asking for action. You are going to lose. Show me the messages. She put the phone away. I do not have to show you anything. I have a process, and you will follow it. I walked back to my unit. My hands were shaking. I pulled up the ring footage again. I went back 2 weeks. Nothing. I went back a month. Still nothing. Then I noticed something. On the night of the thefts, my camera caught a golf cart driving past my door at 6:43 p.m. It had a blinking amber light. Joanne's cart. I zoomed in. The cart stopped for a few seconds near the corner of my building. Then it kept going toward the parking lot. I screenshotted the timestamp and the frame. Then I opened the HOA portal and requested access to the common area camera footage for that night. The portal said access required board approval. I submitted the request anyway. The next day I got an email. Request denied. Insufficient justification. The email was signed by Joanne. I called Eric. He said he did not see the request. I forwarded him the email. He said he would look into it. I asked if I could get the footage directly from the security vendor. He said the vendor only releases footage to management or law enforcement. I asked if I could file a police report. He said I could, but without evidence of a crime against me specifically, the police would not pull footage for a neighborhood theft investigation. I was stuck. Joanne controlled access to the footage. Joanne controlled the vendor. Joanne controlled the narrative. And she was using all of it to bury me. That weekend, my girlfriend drove down. Her name is Rachel. She works in hospitality. She is the kind of person who can talk to anyone. She took one look at me and said I looked like I had not slept in a week. She was right. I told her everything. She sat on the couch and listened. Then she said we should go talk to the neighbors. We walked around the complex. Most people were not home. The ones who were home did not want to talk. One guy said he heard about the thefts, but did not see anything. Another woman said Joanne told her I was under investigation. Rachel asked if anyone actually saw me near the cars. No one had. But no one was willing to say that out loud. We went back to my place. Rachel said Joanne was running a smear campaign. She said the only way to stop it was to prove she was lying. I agreed, but I did not know how. On Monday, I got another notice. This one was taped to my door. It said I had 72 hours to remove my doorbell camera or face enforcement action. Enforcement action was not defined. I called Eric. He said he did not authorize the notice. I said Joanne was printing them on her own. He said he would talk to her. Again, I left the camera up. On Tuesday, Joanne showed up at my door with a clipboard. She had orange tags in her hand. She tried to stick one on my camera. I opened the door. What are you doing? I am tagging non-compliant installations. You were warned. You do not have the authority to tag anything. She pointed at the clipboard. I am acting under Board Resolution 412. All non-approved modifications are subject to immediate removal. I have approval. I showed you the email. Your approval was rescinded. I sent you the updated notice. I never got an updated notice. She smiled. That is not my problem. You have 48 hours to remove the camera, or I will have it removed for you. The cost will be added to your account. She walked away. I stood there. My chest was tight. I could not breathe. I went inside and called Rachel. She said I needed a lawyer. I said I could not afford a lawyer. She said I needed to do something before Joanne destroyed my life. That night I could not sleep. I kept thinking about the golf cart, about the timeline, about the portal audit log. Something did not add up. Joanne had access to the portal. Joanne controlled the vendor. Joanne was the one pushing the theft narrative. And Joanne was the one who kept showing up at the exact wrong time. The next morning I went to the clubhouse. I walked past the pool and looked in the storage closet near the maintenance shed. The door was unlocked. Inside I saw cardboard boxes stacked against the wall. I opened one. It was full of HOA letterhead and old meeting minutes. I opened another. It had pool supplies. I opened a third box. Inside I found a shopping bag. It had a pair of sunglasses, a phone charger, a pack of batteries, and a small Bluetooth speaker. All of it looked new. I took a picture. Then I closed the box and left. I went back to my unit and pulled up the ring footage again. I went back to the night of the thefts. I found the moment Joanne's cart stopped near my building. I zoomed in as far as the resolution would allow. She was holding something. It looked like a bag. I could not see what was inside, but the shape was right. I called a resident named Marcus. He runs the community watch group. He is retired military, and he does not like HOA drama, but he hates liars more. I told him what I found. He said he would meet me at the clubhouse. We went to the storage closet together. I showed him the box. He pulled out the shopping bag and looked through it. He recognized the sunglasses. He said they matched the description from the theft report. He pulled out his phone and took pictures. Then he said we needed to call the police. I said the police would not do anything without proof that Joanne put the items there. Marcus said we had the location and the items. That was enough to start a report. He called the non-emergency line. A deputy showed up 30 minutes later. Her name was Deputy Ramirez. She looked at the box. She asked who had access to the storage closet. Marcus said it was supposed to be locked, but the lock was broken. Anyone could get in. She asked if there was any security footage. I said the HOA controlled the cameras, and the footage was not being released. She took pictures of the box and the items. She said she would file a report, but without evidence linking a specific person to the theft, there was not much she could do. She said if we could get footage or a witness, she could escalate it. She gave me a case number and left. Marcus and I stood in the parking lot. He said Joanne was sloppy. She was hiding stolen items in an unlocked closet. That meant she thought no one would look, or she thought she was untouchable. He said we needed to get the portal audit log. If Joanne was deleting footage or manipulating records, the log would show it. I went back to my unit and logged into the HOA portal. I clicked on the audit tab. It said access required administrator privileges. I submitted another request. This time I cited the police case number. I said I needed the log for an active investigation. 2 hours later I got a response. Request denied. Audit logs are internal records and not available to residents. The email was signed by Joanne. I forwarded it to Eric. I said I had a police case number and I needed the log. He called me 10 minutes later. He said he did not know Joanne was denying records requests. He said he would pull the log himself. He said it would take a day or two. I did not have a day or two. My employer had already called me twice asking why I was late. I told them I had a personal emergency. They said I had one more chance. If I was late again, they would terminate me during probation. I could not lose this job. I could not afford to start over. That night, Joanne showed up at my door again. She had a printed notice in her hand. She tried to hand it to me. I did not take it. She taped it to the door. This is your final warning. Remove the camera by tomorrow at noon, or I will have the vendor remove it. The cost will be $450 plus a removal fee. You will also be billed for the notice processing. I opened the door. You do not have the authority to do any of that. She pulled out her phone and showed me a text message. I could not read the full message, but I saw the words board approval and vendor authorization. She put the phone away. I have a process, and you will follow it. Your camera is coming down tomorrow. If you interfere, I will have you trespassed from the property. She walked away. I stood there. My hands were shaking again. I called Marcus. He said to document everything. He said to keep the camera up and record whatever happened. He said if Joanne tried to remove it, we would have her on video trespassing and vandalizing my property. The next day at 11:45, a white van pulled up. It had a security company logo on the side. 2 guys got out. They walked up to my door. One of them knocked. I opened it. He said he was here to remove the camera. I asked who authorized it. He said the HOA. I asked for the work order. He showed me a printed form. It had Joanne's signature at the bottom. It did not have Eric's signature. I told him the work order was not valid. He said he was just doing his job. I said if he touched my camera, I would file a police report for vandalism. He looked at his partner. They talked for a minute. Then they walked back to the van and called someone. I could hear them through the door. They were talking to Joanne. She was yelling. They hung up. They drove away. I called Eric. I told him what happened. He said he did not authorize any vendor removal. He said Joanne was acting on her own. He said he would call an emergency board meeting. I asked when. He said probably next week. I said I did not have until next week. I needed the audit log now. He sighed. He said he would try to get it by tomorrow. That afternoon, Joanne showed up at the mailbox cluster again. She was talking to a group of residents. I walked up. She saw me and raised her voice. This is the one who is costing us all money. The board is going to have to raise fees because of his legal expenses. He is refusing to comply with basic rules. He is a thief and a liar. One of the residents, a guy named Tom, looked at me. Is that true? No. She is lying. I have never stolen anything. She is the one who called a fake tow on my car. She is the one who tried to have my camera removed without authorization. She is the one who has been harassing me for months. Joanne pulled out her phone again and waved it around. I have messages. I have proof. You are all going to see it at the board meeting. Show me the proof, right now. She put the phone away. I do not have to show you anything. Tom looked uncomfortable. He grabbed his mail and left. The other residents followed. Joanne walked to her golf cart and drove away. The amber light blinked as she turned the corner. I went back to my unit. I was exhausted. I sat on the couch and stared at the wall. Rachel called. She asked how it was going. I told her it was getting worse. She said she was coming down again this weekend. I told her not to waste the gas. She said she was coming anyway. That night I got an email from Eric. He attached the portal audit log. It was a spreadsheet with 300 rows. Each row had a timestamp, a user ID, a module name, and an action. I scrolled through it. Most of it was boring. Login. Logout. View document. Upload file. But then I saw something. On the night of the thefts, Joanne's user ID showed up 6 times between 6:30 and 7:15 p.m. She accessed the camera footage module. She downloaded 2 files. Then, she deleted them. I screenshotted the rows. I forwarded them to Marcus. He called me immediately. She deleted the footage. She is covering her tracks. I know. But how do I prove she is the one who stole the items? We need the original footage. If she downloaded it, it might still be on her device. Or the vendor might have a backup. I called the security vendor. I explained the situation. I gave them the police case number. I asked if they kept backup footage. The woman on the phone said they kept backups for 90 days, but they only released footage to law enforcement or management with a subpoena. I asked if I could get a subpoena. She said I would need to file a civil suit or get the police to escalate the case. I did not have money for a lawsuit. And Deputy Ramirez already said she could not escalate without more evidence. I was back to square one. I had the audit log. I had the stolen items. I had the golf cart footage. But I did not have anything that directly tied Joanne to the thefts. I needed a witness. Or, I needed Joanne to slip up. On Friday I got another notice. This one was delivered by hand. A guy in a private security uniform knocked on my door. He handed me an envelope. Inside was a letter from the HOA. It said I was being summoned to a compliance hearing on Monday at 6 p.m. The letter said I was being charged with theft, vandalism, harassment, and failure to comply with architectural guidelines. It said the board would vote on penalties up to and including lease termination proceedings. I called Eric. He said he did not write the letter. He said Joanne must have drafted it and sent it under the HOA letterhead. He said it was not a valid summons because the board had not voted to hold a hearing. He said he would cancel it. I asked if he could guarantee Joanne would not show up anyway and try to run the meeting. He did not answer. Rachel arrived that night. She looked at the letter and shook her head. She said Joanne was trying to intimidate me into leaving. She said we needed to flip the script. We needed to put Joanne on the defensive. How? We go to the hearing. We bring the evidence. We make her answer questions in front of the board. What if the board does not care? Then we make it public. We file complaints with the state. We go to the news. We make her the story. I did not want to be on the news. I just wanted Joanne to leave me alone. But Rachel was right. I could not keep playing defense. I needed to force Joanne to explain herself. On Monday, I showed up at the clubhouse at 5:45. The conference room was empty. I set up my laptop. I pulled up the audit log, the ring footage, the pictures of the stolen items, and the police case number. Marcus showed up a few minutes later. He said he was there as a witness. Rachel sat in the back. Eric arrived at 6. He looked tired. He said Joanne told him the hearing was mandatory. He said the other board members were not coming because they did not think it was a real hearing. He said it was just going to be him, me, and Joanne. Joanne walked in at 6:05. She had the manila folder again. She had a printed stack of papers. She sat down at the head of the table. She looked at me. This is a formal compliance hearing under the authority of the Harbor Point Residential Association Board of Directors. You are being charged with multiple violations. You will have an opportunity to respond. But I will be presenting the evidence first. Eric interrupted. Joanne, this is not an official hearing. The board did not vote to hold this. You cannot just call a hearing on your own. I am acting under my authority as Architectural Committee Chair. I have the right to enforce violations. You have the right to report violations. You do not have the right to hold hearings. She ignored him. She opened the folder and pulled out the timeline again. She slid it across the table to Eric. This timeline shows a pattern of behavior. The resident has been seen in restricted areas. He has been uncooperative with management. He has installed unapproved equipment. And he has been linked to theft incidents on the property. I leaned forward. That timeline is fake. You made it up. She looked at me. I have a process, and you will follow it. You will not interrupt. I have evidence that contradicts everything you just said. I have the portal audit log. It shows you deleted camera footage on the night of the thefts. I have pictures of stolen items hidden in the storage closet. I have ring footage showing your golf cart in the area at the time of the thefts. And I have a police case number. I turned my laptop around and showed the screen to Eric. He looked at the audit log. He looked at the highlighted rows. He looked at Joanne. Did you delete footage? I archived outdated files. That is part of my role. Why did you archive footage from the night of the thefts? It was not relevant. How do you know it was not relevant if you deleted it before anyone could review it? She did not answer. Eric looked at me. Can you send me this log? I am sending it now. Joanne stood up. This is a waste of time. I am not going to sit here and be accused by someone who has been lying from the beginning. You are the one who stole from the cars. You are the one who has been violating the rules. I have witnesses. Eric looked at her. Who are your witnesses? She did not answer. She grabbed the folder and walked toward the door. Marcus stood up and blocked her path. He looked at Eric. She needs to answer the question. If she has witnesses, she needs to name them. If she does not have witnesses, she needs to admit she has been lying. Joanne turned around. She pointed at Marcus. You do not have any authority here. You are just a resident. I am the community watch coordinator. I have been here longer than you. And I have talked to every resident who filed a theft report. None of them saw this man. None of them mentioned him. You are the only one pushing this story. She looked at Eric. Are you going to let him talk to me like this? Eric rubbed his face. Joanne, if you do not have witnesses, you need to retract the charges. I am not going to let this turn into a witch hunt. She did not say anything. She walked around Marcus and left. The door slammed. Eric looked at me. I am sorry. She has been out of control for months. The board is going to address this. When? Next week. I do not have until next week. She tried to have my camera removed. She tried to tow my car. She has been spreading lies to the neighbors. She cost me time at work. I am on probation. If I lose my job because of her, I am going to sue the HOA. He nodded. I understand. I am going to recommend the board remove her from the architectural committee, but that is all I can do right now. I closed my laptop. Rachel stood up. She looked at Eric. You need to do more than recommend. You need to suspend her access to the portal. You need to stop her from printing notices. You need to send a correction email to every resident. And you need to preserve every record she has touched. If she deletes anything else, you are going to have a legal problem. Eric nodded. I will do that. We left. I felt like I had just run a marathon. My legs were shaking. Marcus walked with us to the parking lot. He said Joanne was going to retaliate. He said I needed to stay alert. I said I knew. That night I could not sleep again. I kept thinking about the audit log. Joanne had deleted the footage. That meant she knew what was on it. That meant she was the one who stole the items. But I still did not have direct proof. I needed the original footage. Or, I needed Joanne to admit it. The next morning I went to the management office. Diane was at the front desk. I asked if Eric was in. She said he was on a call. I asked if I could wait. She said sure. I sat down. 10 minutes later, Joanne walked in. She saw me and stopped. She looked at Diane. I need to speak with Eric immediately. He is on a call. This cannot wait. Diane shrugged. You can wait, or you can come back later. Joanne walked over and sat down across from me. She did not say anything. She just stared. I pulled out my phone and opened the Ring app. I pretended to scroll through footage. She leaned forward. You think you are clever. You think you can destroy me with some fake audit log. But I have been doing this for years. I know how to handle people like you. I looked up. People like me. Troublemakers. Liars. People who do not follow the rules. I follow the rules. You are the one who breaks them. She smiled. Prove it. I already did. The audit log proves you deleted footage. The stolen items prove someone is taking things. The golf cart footage proves you were in the area. And the police case number proves I reported it. What do you have? She did not answer. Eric walked out of his office. He saw Joanne and his face tightened. He looked at Diane. I told you I did not want to see her today. She just walked in. He looked at Joanne. You need to leave. I am not discussing this with you until the board meets. Joanne stood up. You are making a mistake. He is lying. I have proof. Eric crossed his arms. Then show me the proof. Right now. She did not move. Eric pointed at the door. Leave. Now. Or I am calling the police. She grabbed her bag and walked out. Eric looked at me. I am sorry. This is out of control. I need the original footage from the vendor. Can you get it? I can try. But it is going to take a few days. They need a formal request. I do not have a few days. She is going to keep escalating. I know. I will do what I can. I left the office and went to work. My supervisor pulled me aside. He said I had been distracted. He said my numbers were down. He said if I did not turn it around, they were going to let me go. I told him I was dealing with a personal issue. He said everyone has personal issues. He said I needed to decide if I wanted to keep this job. I said I did. He said then I needed to act like it. I went back to my desk and tried to focus. I could not. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Rachel. She said Joanne just posted on the neighborhood Facebook group. She said I was under investigation for theft and residents should be cautious. Rachel said the post had 30 likes already. She said people were commenting. Some were defending me. Most were not. I opened Facebook. I found the post. It had a picture of the theft notice Joanne gave me. It had my unit number. It did not have my name, but everyone knew who lived in 214. The comments were brutal. One person said I should be evicted. Another said they always knew something was off about me. Another said the HOA should press charges. I logged out. I could not read anymore. I called Marcus. He said he saw the post. He said he reported it to Facebook for harassment. He said I should do the same. I did. Then, I called Rachel. She said I needed to fight back. She said I should post my own statement with the evidence. I said I did not want to start a public war. She said the war already started. Joanne fired the first shot. I needed to fire back. That night I wrote a post. I kept it short. I said I was falsely accused. I said I had evidence that contradicted the HOA's claims. I said I filed a police report. I said I was cooperating fully with management. I said anyone who wanted to know the truth could contact me directly. I posted it. Within an hour it had 50 comments. Half were supportive. Half were calling me a liar. Joanne commented. She said I was deflecting. She said the board would handle it. She said residents should trust the process. I did not respond. Rachel told me not to engage. She said Joanne wanted me to lose my temper. She said I needed to stay calm and stick to the facts. I tried. But it was hard. Every time I opened Facebook, there was another comment, another accusation, another neighbor who thought I was guilty. On Wednesday, Eric called. He said he got the original footage from the vendor. He said it took a formal request and a reminder about the police case number, but they finally released it. He said he was reviewing it now. He said he would call me back in an hour. 2 hours later, he called. He said the footage showed Joanne's golf cart parked near the clubhouse lot on the night of the thefts. He said the cart was there for 11 minutes. He said Joanne got out, walked to 3 different cars, and tried the door handles. He said one of the cars was unlocked. He said she reached inside and took something. He said the footage was clear. He said it was her. I felt like I could not breathe. I asked if he sent it to the police. He said he was sending it now. He said he was also sending it to the board. He said they were holding an emergency meeting tomorrow night. He said Joanne would be suspended immediately. He said the board was going to vote on her removal. He said I would be cleared of all charges. I hung up. I sat on the couch. Rachel called. I told her. She screamed. She said we won. She said Joanne was done. I said it was not over yet. She said it was close enough. The next day I went to work. My supervisor pulled me aside again. He said my attendance was better. He said my focus was better. He said if I kept it up, I would pass probation. I said I would. I went back to my desk and actually got work done for the first time in 2 weeks. That night I went to the clubhouse. The board meeting was at 7. I sat in the back. Marcus was there. Rachel was there. A few other residents showed up. Joanne was not there. Eric stood at the front. He said the board had reviewed the security footage. He said the footage clearly showed Joanne Whitaker accessing vehicles without authorization and removing property. He said the footage had been turned over to law enforcement. He said Joanne was being removed from the architectural committee effective immediately. He said her portal access was revoked. He said she was banned from using HOA letterhead or vendor resources. He said the board was also implementing a new policy. All portal activity would be logged and audited monthly. All footage deletion requests would require board approval, and all compliance actions would require manager sign-off. One of the board members, an older man named Bill, raised his hand. He asked what would happen to Joanne. Eric said that was up to the police. He said the HOA was cooperating fully. He said if charges were filed, the board would pursue lease termination. Bill nodded. Eric looked at me. He said he wanted to apologize on behalf of the board. He said I was wrongly accused. He said the board took full responsibility for failing to oversee Joanne's actions. He said my record would be cleared. He said any fees or charges would be refunded. He said the notice about my camera was void. He said I could keep the camera up. The room was quiet. Then Marcus stood up. He said the board needed to send a correction email to all residents. He said Joanne had spread lies on social media. He said those lies needed to be corrected publicly. Eric nodded. He said the board would send an email tomorrow. After the meeting, I walked out to the parking lot. Rachel hugged me. Marcus shook my hand. He said I handled it well. He said most people would have given up. I said I did not have a choice. He said everyone has a choice. He said I chose to fight back. He said that mattered. On Friday, I got an email from the board. It went to every resident. It said the theft investigation was closed. It said the person responsible had been identified and removed from the committee. It said I was cleared of all charges. It said the board apologized for the inconvenience. It did not name Joanne, but it did not have to. Everyone knew. The Facebook post disappeared. Joanne's profile went private. The neighborhood group went quiet. A few people messaged me privately to apologize. Most did not. I did not care. I was just glad it was over. 2 weeks later, Deputy Ramirez called. She said Joanne was being charged with petite theft and trespassing. She said the state attorney was reviewing the case. She said I might be called as a witness. I said I would testify if needed. She said the stolen items were being returned to the owners. She said the sunglasses were mine. I told her I did not own sunglasses. She said the original owner was identified from the vehicle registration. I said okay. Eric called a few days later. He said Joanne moved out. He said her lease was terminated by mutual agreement. He said she did not contest it. He said the board was looking for a new architectural committee member. He asked if I was interested. I said no. He laughed. He said he understood. I asked if Joanne ever admitted what she did. He said no. He said she claimed the footage was edited. He said she claimed the audit log was fake. He said she claimed I set her up. He said no one believed her. He said the vendor confirmed the footage was authentic. He said the state attorney confirmed the audit log was valid. He said Joanne had no credibility left. He said she was done. That weekend, Rachel came down again. We sat on the porch and watched the sunset. She asked how I felt. I said relieved. I said exhausted. I said angry. She asked if I was going to stay. I said I did not know. She said I should think about it. She said the neighborhood was different now. She said people knew the truth. She said I won. I thought about that. I did win. But it did not feel like a victory. It felt like survival. Joanne tried to destroy me. She lied. She manipulated records. She weaponized the HOA. She turned neighbors against me. And she almost got away with it. If I had not pushed back, if Marcus had not helped, if Eric had not finally acted, I would have lost everything. My job, my home, my reputation, all because one person decided I was guilty. The HOA is required to preserve records and stop deleting portal uploads. That was the first consequence. Joanne lost her role immediately. That was the second. But the third consequence was quieter. The board changed. They started auditing committee actions. They started requiring manager approval for enforcement. They started treating residents like people instead of problems. It was not perfect, but it was better. A few months later, I got a letter from the state attorney. It said Joanne pled no contest to petite theft. She was sentenced to probation and community service. She was ordered to pay restitution. The letter said the case was closed. I filed it away. I did not need to think about her anymore. I stayed at Harbor Point. I passed probation at work. I got a raise. Rachel and I are still together. We talk about moving in together. Maybe next year. Maybe here. Maybe somewhere else. I do not know yet, but I know I am not running. I am not letting anyone push me out again. Marcus still runs the community watch group. We grab coffee sometimes. He told me Joanne tried to join another HOA board in Kissimmee. They did a background check and found the theft charge. They rejected her application. He said she is working at a call center now. He said karma is real. I said maybe. I still have the doorbell camera. I still check the footage every morning. I still save the audit logs. I still keep a folder with all the evidence. Just in case. Because I learned something. The system does not protect you. The rules do not protect you. The only thing that protects you is proof. and the willingness to use it. I saw Joanne once more. It was at a Publix near the highway. She was in the checkout line. She saw me and looked away. She did not say anything. I did not either. I grabbed my groceries and left. That was enough. People ask me if I am glad I fought back. I say yes. But I also say it should not have been necessary. The HOA should have stopped her. The board should have audited her. The neighbors should have questioned her. But they did not. They believed her because she was loud. Because she had a process. Because she acted like she had authority. That is the thing about people like Joanne. They do not have power. They just act like they do. And if no one challenges them, they get away with it. They ruin lives. They destroy reputations. They hide behind rules and paperwork and fake authority. And they keep doing it until someone stops them. I stopped her. It cost me sleep. It cost me stress. It cost me time. But I stopped her. And now the HOA is different. The rules are different. The process is different. Because one person decided to fight back. I do not know if that makes me a hero. I do not feel like one. I feel like someone who survived. Someone who got lucky. Someone who had help. Because I did have help. Marcus helped. Rachel helped. Eric helped. Deputy Ramirez helped. The vendor helped. Even Bill, the board member who barely said anything, helped by showing up and voting to remove her. That is the other thing I learned. You cannot do it alone. You need allies. You need people who believe you. You need people who will stand up when it matters. Because Joanne had allies too. She had the board members who ignored her behavior. She had the neighbors who believed her lies. She had the vendors who followed her orders without question. If I had not built my own network, I would have lost. So if you are reading this and you are dealing with someone like Joanne, here's my advice. Document everything. Save every email. Save every notice. Save every text. Record every conversation if your state allows it. Take pictures. Take screenshots. Build a timeline. Build a case. Because when the time comes, you will need proof. And the more proof you have, the harder it is for them to lie. Second, find allies. Talk to your neighbors. Talk to the manager. Talk to the board members who are not part of the problem. Talk to the police, if you have to. Do not fight alone. Because people like Joanne thrive in isolation. They want you to feel like no one will believe you. They want you to give up. Do not give them that satisfaction. Third, stay calm. I know that is hard. I know you want to scream. I know you want to fight back with the same tactics they use. Do not. Stay professional. Stay factual. Stay focused. Because the moment you lose your temper, they win. They get to paint you as the problem. They get to say you are unhinged. They get to use your emotions against you. Do not give them that opening. Fourth, use the system. File complaints. File police reports. File records requests. Use every tool the law gives you. Because people like Joanne think they are above the rules. They think they can ignore procedures. They think they can rewrite policy on the fly. Prove them wrong. Force them to follow the same rules they use to control everyone else. And fifth, do not quit. Do not move. Do not give up. Because that is what they want. They want you gone. They want you to disappear so they can keep doing what they are doing. Do not let them win. Stay. Fight. Make them leave instead. I did all of that. And I won. Not because I am special. Not because I am smarter or tougher. But because I refused to quit. I refused to let Joanne take everything from me. I refused to be another victim in her long list of people she crushed. The HOA is still here. I am still here. And Joanne is gone. That is the win. That is the payoff. That is justice. Some people think justice means punishment. I used to think that too. But now I think justice means accountability. It means people face consequences. It means the system works. It means the truth comes out. It means the lies stop. That is what happened here. Joanne lied. The truth came out. She faced consequences. The system worked. Not perfectly. Not quickly. But it worked. And that is enough. I will catch you in the next story.